There we go. There we go.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. I didn't even do the intro to this video. So I need to do an intro. But uh, welcome everyone to Cozy Conversations. Sorry for the um, technical difficulties, but I had to figure out how to add somebody in here. But welcome to Cozy Conversations. Today I have my very favorite, good, dear friend, Shayla Graham. Well, I don't even need to say your whole
Put my government out there.
say your whole government out there, but Shayla is here, and I just wanted to invite her because we have amazing conversations. As you know, the name of my podcast is Cozy Conversations, and where I'm still working on the tagline, but my vision with this podcast is where we comfortably have uncomfortable conversations, right? Or how we have uncomfortable conversations comfortably. So, I've talked about a lot of things and I will continue to talk about a lot of different things. But today I just really felt like talking about workplace trauma and just finding healing around certain experiences we've had at work that has kind of affected us and caused us to react in certain ways in professional environments. Um, so yeah, but anyways, I would love for Shayla to just introduce yourself. Tell us what you want
Sure.
people to know about you.
So my name is Shayla. I've known Priscilla for many years now, and we have so many similar interests when it comes to faith, eating well, taking care of yourself, and of course, being your best self, right? Developing your career, pursuing purpose, all that good stuff. And so I think her and I both collectively have experienced a full gamut of things in the workplace, and we just want to create an opportunity to lift up those stories and share them and advocate for the voices that go unheard, and also apply it to God's word, right? Always making sure that it lines up with his good and perfect will. So
Yeah, no, totally. So I mean, I don't even know where to start. I mean, I guess I could just start off with just talking about some of my previous experiences with just feeling disregarded, in the workplace where you've worked really hard or you've provided a lot of revenue. I'm in sales, and but even in I've worked in other industries as well. I've worked in the behavioral health industry. I've worked in the nonprofit industry. And I think that when it comes to nonprofit and behavioral health industry, the workplace trauma is totally different than corporate sales. Um, but I would like to, I guess I could start from before I even got into corporate sales. I would say some of the things that I've experienced there was more so around uh, bullying. I feel like in nonprofit and behavioral health jobs, if a group of people in the office do not like you, they will bully you. They will bully you, and the way that bullying looks, it's why aren't you smiling? Or oh, we feel like you are just we feel like you don't like us, or we feel like you this, we feel like you that, and I've experienced that so much, and I'm actually a very happy person. Such a happy person, and so it, it's just such an odd thing to be working for the community and in a humanitarian space, and when it comes to those spaces, that is where they attack your humanism, you're humanist or whatever. They attack you as a person. Like it's really focused more so on personality attacks. I mean, but I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on that? I feel like that's kind of what I experienced.
Bullying, definitely. And I think that it happens in every workplace, but it's closed a little bit differently. So I think if you are in 100% in the office and it's primarily made up of people that have been there for many, many years, which nonprofits tend to be, you have like that, a bit of a hierarchy. Like, I've been here for so many years, I can act how I want to act. And so sometimes some of the things and the etiquette that you would expect from the workplace is just simply lost on the fact that this is the culture that is set because people have been there so long. I would say that in other settings, right, where you might be working more remotely or more virtually, it's communication can become extremely important, and just making sure you're following up in your emails and being very organized with that, because I think in those more remote settings, sometimes the aggressive behavior can become more like microaggressive, and a little bit harder to detect and a little bit harder to really like call out. So yeah, I would say that. Is my audio okay?
Yeah, I mean, I could hear you. I don't know if how people feel on the other end, but I can hear you.
Awesome.
So you pointed out two different things. You talked about communication, and then you talked about like remotely, like it turns into like finding that like weird communications where you feel like you're getting kind of like slighted or attacked like via email when you're in a remote space, right? And it becomes like kind of like a microaggression. So I love that because like I kind of want to talk a little bit more about like that communication piece, right? So like, do you feel like because of your experience, you learned that the best way to kind of get ahead of the trauma or like creating another environment where it could traumatize you is by being hyper communicative?
I'm not hyper communicative, but what I am is I'm very strategic with the way that I communicate, right? And I don't say that either. If someone were to ask me, what do you think your strengths are? I wouldn't say I'm a strategic communicator. You know what I mean? It sounds a little off-putting, right? I would say I'm strategic. I keep that to myself, though. And I'm strategic because I like to promote collegial, professional work environments. I'm also a big advocate for showing people respect. And because of diversity, respect looks different to a lot of different people. So it's always best to like lead with discretion and to, communicate in a way that isn't going to be too abrasive or too brash. And then I also always refer back to God's word. Like, if he were right here in this room, which I know that he is, how would he want me to interact with this person? What would he want me to say?
Right. No, that is so good. And so I love that you said strategic because honestly, I think back on my experiences and one of my biggest, even back all the way back to college, like I wish I was so much more strategic. I feel like, that part of being naive when you're young is thinking that like people have your best interests at heart. Or like you know what I mean? Like part of being so young and and new, being a spring chicken in the world is that you think that like you be yourself. They be yourself. Be authentic, and also other people will be authentic with you. Like what they're saying to you is exactly how they feel about you.
Yeah.
And I've been in situations where I'm super all in, and this is more so in the corporate sales space, right? Where I've been all in, and I've super successful, like getting to know everyone on my team, and And then, you know, when things don't look like the way they want it to look, it doesn't matter how nice you were. It doesn't matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter if you know, stayed late in the office, came in early before everyone else, worked on the weekends. If it doesn't look the way they want it to look in terms of your numbers, because this is more in the sales space, they will start figuring out ways how to like phase you out, is the way they call it. Phase you out. Can you believe that? Like, I don't know if I don't know if I'm the only person who's felt that. I'm sure many people have felt the feeling of getting phased out.
I want you
It
to
is the
elaborate on
hardest
that.
thing. It's the hardest thing to experience.
I want you to elaborate on that. I'm going to shut my camera off for 2 seconds. You speak to that point. I'm listening in, and I'm going to pop right back on with you.
Oh
Okay?
yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Okay.